Hey guys, so in today's video I have a super special guest joining me, which is my dad, and he is going to be doing some dip nails on me, and I will also be announcing the 4 winners to my 40k giveaway. So let's get right into the video. The first thing I'm going to do is announce the 40k giveaway winners, as you guys are super excited to see who will each be winning $200 to Sparkle & Co. So here is the giveaway video if you missed it. I will link it in the cards in case you want to learn more about it. And now I'm going to be sharing the winners. So the US winners are That Kid as well as Hayley Page. So congratulations to you two, and I will be getting into contact with you as soon as possible. And then the international winners are Iyana, Henry, and Nasia. So congratulations to you two as well, and I will get into contact with you guys too. So congratulations to all of the winners, and thank you so much to all of you who took the time to enter. So the first thing he's going to do is push back my cuticles, and he's just being super gentle with a metal cuticle pusher and getting rid of any of that dead skin around my nail. Now, if you guys have been keeping up with my channel for the past few weeks or so, I did mention that I was going to be filming a video with my dad, and he would be doing my nails. Now, my dad is definitely really involved in my YouTube career, which I am so happy about, and it's super fun to be able to bond over something like this, especially since you wouldn't really picture him to be that type of person. But anyway, he watches almost all of my videos and has gotten quite a few pointers and techniques from them, so I thought he actually was going to do a really good job on these. And as you guys saw from the intro picture, they actually don't look that bad, and surprisingly I got a comment from them when I went out shopping, and that was really funny to me since I didn't even do them myself. So yeah, this video is going to be that whole process of him doing my nails, and I will also share some things that I mentioned to him along the way, just because he has never done any dip powder nails, and it might be helpful for you guys that are beginners as well. So after pushing back the cuticles, I told him to buff the surface of my nail, and this is going to prep it for the dip application and make sure that the dip powder adheres properly. So he's specifically going to focus around the cuticle area to remove any of that dead skin that the cuticle pusher did not get off, as well as slightly rough up the surface of my natural nail. And after he has done that, I'm going to have him cleanse my nails with some rubbing alcohol and a manicure brush, and this is going to get rid of any of the dust before the dip powder application, which is super helpful because you don't want the dust to interfere with the adherence of the product. Then he's going to apply a thin, even layer of the peel off base coat to all of my nails, and this is going to make sure the dip powder can easily pop off. And the main reason I did this was because I wasn't sure how these were going to turn out, and I definitely wanted to be able to take them off easily if it got all over my skin, but that actually wasn't the case. They were super neat, so this again was just to help with an easier removal. And as you guys can see here already, he has a really good painting technique going down. He hasn't gotten any on the skin or anything like that, and he has a good amount of product on the brush, which is really crucial in the application so that you don't get it on the skin or flood the nail. So for this manicure, we wanted to go with a Wisconsin Badger theme, so we're using all that shimmers as well as Santa Baby from Sparkle & Co. And we're going to be using the double dip liquid base to do the application. So first we're going to pour that beautiful shimmer white shade into this dip container, and that's just going to make it a little bit easier for him to do my nails because these Sparkle & Co containers are quite small and the product tends to spill out, so I figured that this would just be the best way. And then he's going to apply a really nice thin layer of base to my nail and dip into the powder. Now, as you can see, the application around the cuticle area is not perfect, so I gave him an orange wood stick to sort of clean that up and smooth out the line, and that definitely made a big difference, especially with the red glitter nails. And now he's going to do that same color on the pinky as well. So we are doing every other nail to get a really fun design and keep it pretty simple since he is a beginner. And that is one thing I really recommend. If you are just starting to do dip powder nails, you definitely want to keep your designs pretty easy for yourself and don't go too overboard because that will help it look nice and clean and pretty. So once again, he's just going to clean around that cuticle area. And then after letting the powder sit for a bit, he's going to brush off any excess on the skin and nails, and this is going to make sure that we don't contaminate the dip powder base. And now he's going to go in for a second coat, and on the second coat I told him he could apply a little bit thicker of a layer of base just to make sure that the full nail is saturated, especially since the powder tends to soak up some of that liquid. And then he's just going to dip in one more time and tap off any excess. And this is the point where I was actually really surprised at how good he was doing. I didn't have too much on my skin, and any that was on the skin could easily be filed off and made nice and neat. So I was really happy to see this, and I think it's because he was doing such thin layers of base and being really precise. That's how the nails turned out looking really good. So after we're done with the white, he's just pouring it back into the original container, and now he's brushing off any excess on the skin and nails once more. Now he's going to take that beautiful red glitter and pour some into the dip container, and this time I actually had to have him refill it up about halfway through dipping, and that was just because my nail was hitting the bottom of the container and it was making some bald spots on the nail, so just adding a little bit more product to the container fixed that problem. And he's going to do the same process for these nails as well, applying a thin, even layer base to the entire nail, except the only difference this time is he's going to dip my finger in parallel to the powder, and that's going to help the glitter lay nice and smooth. And he's also going to take a finger and dip into the powder and then tap the nail just to smooth out any pieces sticking up. And just like before, he's removing any glitter pieces on the skin with that orange wood stick, which will leave a really pretty and clean look. And now he's just going to repeat that on the other nail as well. And I really love these two colors together. It's almost like a candy cane manicure if you want to think about that as well, which is perfect for the holidays. So now he's going to brush off any excess on those nails. And one thing I do want to say, glitter dip powder is a little bit harder to use if you are a beginner. It's a little bit difficult to find the balance of thickness between base and powder because the glitter nails can tend to look a little bit chunky, but he did a really good job at keeping the base layers really thin and also making sure the glitter pieces laid nice and flat, which overall helped the nails maintain a medium thickness and not look too bulky. So here he's just going to dip into the powder one more time after applying the base, and this glitter color was fully covered in 2 coats along with that white shade. We did 2 coats of each color. And here again he's just moving on to the next nail and doing the exact same steps as before. And after that second coat, he's brushing off any excess glitter on the nails. And at this point I realized that there was a few bald spots on this nail, specifically towards these sides because I think it was harder for him to get around the side of the nail. So we just applied a thin amount of base in those areas and re-dipped into the glitter, and this was going to cover those areas to make it nice and full coverage. And this is a really helpful tip if you are working with a glitter. You can totally do this to get a really even coverage. And then of course, since we are done with the red, he's going to pour it back into the original container. Then he's brushing off any excess glitter before we go in with the clear powder to avoid contaminating our base liquid. And you can see here that that white shade got all over my fingers, and I will show you guys how to remove that towards the end of the video. So now we're going to use clear dip from double dip to clear encapsulate, and like I always say in my videos, this is a really crucial step, especially with glitter powders, because without it you can file away the pigment of the glitters and it can just overall make them look not as nice and the color will fade. So by doing this layer you are protecting the color underneath and making sure that we don't take off any of the color. So he's repeating the same process of applying a thin even layer of base, dipping into the clear, and then tapping off any excess. And as of now in the video, I was super impressed with his techniques. Obviously, I was sort of guiding him through the process since he has never done dip nails before, but by just following the simple tips I mentioned in a lot of my videos, he was able to create a super clean and nice manicure. Alright, and then I just told him to dip all of the nails into the clear one more time to make sure that the base was fully saturated. Then he's brushing off any excess powder on the nails. And now we're going to activate using the double dip activator, and he's going to apply 2 generous layers of this to all of my nails to harden up the powder and make it ready for filing. And I told him here that you really can't be too generous with the activator. It's really crucial that all of the layers of powder are solidified before you file, because sometimes if you don't have enough activator, the powder can be gummy and come off in little chunks, which is not what you want. So you want to make sure the nail is fully covered and evenly hardened. And then we let that dry for about 2 minutes, and now he's going to go in with the file. Now I think filing is honestly one of the most difficult parts of doing the dip nails because it can really pull the manicure together, or it can sort of just be not really beneficial. So the main tips I told him are to start with the free edge and sidewalls and to really perfect those before you move on to the surface of the nail, because that sets up your shape. So that is what he's doing here. He's going at a 90-degree angle on these sidewalls and free edge to make them nice and straight and a square shape. And you could see here that I was guiding him, and that's just because I want to make sure he doesn't take off too much of my natural nail. Since they are pretty short, I don't really want to take off any length, I just want to even out the dip powder shape. Also, another tip I have for you guys is to go slow and take looks at your nail before you move on, because this will help you avoid overfiling and messing up the entire shape of your nail. I'm also using a 100-180 grit file, and he's using the 180 side, which is softer and it won't do too much damage on the nail. So again, he's just doing the same thing here, starting off with the free edge and making it nice and straight, and then going in on the sidewalls to make them straight coming out from the skin, and also taper them in slightly to remove any bulkiness. Now he's going to take the file and go around the cuticle area, specifically on the glitter nails, and he's holding it at a 45-degree angle, which will make the dip powder blend into my natural nail and remove any of the glitter pieces sticking up. And once again, I was just moving the file to position it correctly so that he was shaping the nail properly and not taking off product in the wrong areas. And like I said, this filing process definitely takes a lot of practice. He wasn't perfect at it, and if I were doing these nails myself, I probably would have been able to file the nails easier, but it's also harder for someone else to file your own nails because obviously you have your own preferences and stuff like that. But he did a pretty good job removing most of the bumps and lumps on the nail. And now he's just taking a rough buffer to buff the surface and make it nice and smooth and even out any of the uneven texture. So I also helped him with the motion of his buffing to get the most out of the filing and make sure that it was even throughout the entire nail. I also made sure he got in all of the crevices because I find that's one thing a lot of people tend to miss. You really want to get into the sidewalls and cuticle area to make the entire nail super smooth. And once again, he's doing that on this nail as well. Now, the white nails are a little bit thinner than the red glitter, obviously because they don't have those glitter chunks inside, so I didn't want him to take off much of those. And after filing, he's just going to spray my nails one more time with the rubbing alcohol and cleanse with my manicure brush. And after this, I actually ended up washing my hands, and that is the best way to remove any of that shimmer stuck to the skin. I just used some soap and water, and a majority of the product came off and left my skin and nails nice and clean and ready for the top coat application. And for top coat, he's going to seal in my nails using the Sparkle & Co. gel top coat. And I actually wanted him to use a gel top coat for this manicure because dip top coat is very hard for beginners to use. I know for me personally, I still find it a little bit challenging to work with, and especially since this was his first time doing nails, I didn't want to throw that at him. So I gave him this gel top coat, which was very simple. It was just like applying the dip powder base, and it also adds a really shiny finish with no air dry necessary. You can just cure, and it's already hardened for you. So he's just going to apply a thin even layer, making sure to cover the entire nail, as well as wrap the free edge, and then I'm going to pop my nails in the lamp to fully dry them. And as you guys can see here, after filing and shaping, the nails really came together and are looking really great considering this was his first time, and I was super proud and impressed with his work. So now he's going to take his favorite Candy Skincare cuticle oil that he picked out and rehydrate my skin and nails, and this is going to make the skin around my nails nice and soft and rehydrated after we used all of that rubbing alcohol and soap and water. So he's just going to apply it on the skin. I told him to try not get it on the gel top coat because that can sometimes dull down the finish, so you just want to be a little bit careful with that, and he did exactly that and was super precise with this oil, which was really funny because you don't need to be this delicate with it. But anyway, he's just going to continue working and rehydrating that skin. And after he was done applying this on my skin, I went ahead and rubbed it in myself just to make sure I didn't get any on the gel top coat. And here is the finished manicure my dad created on my nails. So I'm super happy with how these nails came out. They're definitely really good for his first try, and obviously with practice they will become even better. So I am super proud and thankful that my dad was willing to do this video, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this 40K special video. So let me know your guys' thoughts down below, if you think my dad did a good job or not, and if you want to see him in any future videos. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a like and subscribe down below, and I will see you in the next one.